What's up everyone, Sebastian here with Press Start Seb, and Uncharted 4 is a really bad Uncharted game. So welcome everybody. The Uncharted 4 multiplayer beta was released these past 2 weekends, and it's kind of sparked up my vigor for Uncharted 4. And with that, there's a lot of kind of arguments and debates on is Uncharted 4 good, is Uncharted 4 bad, is it the best in the series or the worst in the series, la 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 la. And I feel very passionately about this topic, so I figured now would be the best time to make a video. I've played a lot of Uncharted's, and Uncharted 4 is a very bad Uncharted. And I say that there's a lot of reasons why it's bad, but I'm going to kind of focus on one primary reason, and I may bleed into two, we'll see kind of where my mind goes. The first reason is the characterizations of all the characters is a fucking mess. From 1, 2, 3, you get this very nice, congruent development of characterization. And then 4 kind of comes and just fucks it all up. And what I mean by that is that the way that Nathan, Sully, and Elena have acted up until the beginning of Uncharted 4 does not mesh with how they act and engage in Uncharted 4. Now I love Uncharted 3, so a lot of it's going to relate to that, and especially the ending of Uncharted 3. The reason why I love Uncharted 3 so much is it's a 3-pillared story. The first pillar, it's Nate's kind of inner turmoils with himself and trying to remedy the fact that he's really obsessed with this treasure. The second pillar is that his relationship with Sully, how they've built up until this point, and how Sully is consistently saying, I'm getting too old for this, I can't do this anymore, we need to stop. And finally, his Nate's relationship with Elena, how they're broken up and they're kind of in this weird state. They seem to be kind of broken up at the beginning of every Uncharted game, minus 4 obviously. And then it's kind of the way he relinquishes the world that he's kind of engaging in, this treasure hunting world, and his time spent with Elena. Now, at the end of Uncharted 3, it rounds off all 3 of those points and does it very well. First, Nate lets the ring go into the sand, which signifies that he's done with it. He no longer feels this compulsion for the treasure that everyone's been consistently bringing up throughout the duration of the story. Secondly, he rounds off his father relationship with Sully, but by getting in the plane with him and kind of riding off in the sunset after Sully kind of says, like, you need to go get back together with Elena. This is what you kind of need to do. And thirdly, like I just alluded to, he gets back together with Elena, he takes the ring off, slides it on his finger. It symbolizes that she is now what's most important to him and where they're going into the future. Now, Uncharted 4 kind of fucks up on all of these points, and that's why it's a bad Uncharted game. First, we have a Nathan who is super obsessed with his heyday. He goes into his attic, he's looking at all his old things, he's ruminating about the past, he's shooting the things, and so you can tell that he's wanting that still, which goes against his kind of relinquishing of that in the third game. It puts him in a really weird spot where the resolution in the third game is for nothing, because in the fourth game he's still the exact same. You then find out that he hasn't spoken to Sully in a number of years before they engage again in Italy, which goes against this whole father relationship where it's important that they have each other in their family that was established in Uncharted 3. So again, you get this resolution between these two figures, and then Uncharted 4 comes and they just don't talk anymore. And finally, he puts that ring back on with Elena, he decides that she's really important to him, no more lying, no more treasure hunting, and then he lies about his brother, and then he lies about going on this adventure to save him, when everything literally up until this point would suggest that she wouldn't be opposed to him doing this. And that's where the problem is. Sam comes in and kind of fucks everything up. He kiboshes a lot of the previous background story that we get in the first 3 games, and he's not likable, and that's a huge problem. This also has to do with really shitty villains in Rafe and Nadine. So, Nadine just beats the fuck out of you all the time, and you don't get the catharsis of defeating her like you do Lazarevich or Navarro or Eddie in the first game. In Rafe, is just kind of a rich prick that wanted Sam to help him and then got fucked over in the end, so he's kind of bitter, which, like, that's normal. So the villains aren't really good, which is typically kind of a strong point for Uncharted, kind of minus Uncharted 3. Sam is a really unlikable character that you don't really care for, and when you're with him, you're not with Elena and Sully, which is much more interesting. They fucked up the characterizations of Nate, Sully, and Elena, and I guess the big problem, the way it seems to me, and obviously I'm an outsider, but I'm a huge fan, it seems that Amy Hennig has a very clear idea who these characters are, what their motivations are, what makes them tick, and what will progress them on their story. And there's a very linear line between Nate, Sully, and Elena in the first game, and how they end up in the final scene of the third game. It's a very natural progression. But then Bruce Stratley and Neil Druckmann come in from The Last of Us, and they infuse motivations and character traits that aren't really what the characters have been until now. They make decisions that aren't in line with previous decisions that they've made. Nate wouldn't lie to Elena. After everything he learned in Uncharted 3, it completely relinquishes that. It doesn't fit with his character anymore. Nate and Sully wouldn't stop talking. It completely negates the father-son relationship they have. And Nate wouldn't enter this weird, like, reliving his glory days after that realization in the third game that my life, my loved ones, and my sanity are more important than treasure. So this is kind of a quick video. I wanted to get a huge brain dump off my chest. It's super disorganized, but I'm going to keep it this way. I'm not going to really change it. Let me know what you think. If you agree, if you've never thought about some of the points that I brought up, if you have thought about some of the points that I brought up and have counter-arguments, I'm really excited to hear those too. Let me know down below. We'll argue it out. I'll tell you you're wrong. You'll tell me I'm wrong. We'll like, we'll share, we'll make love. No, thanks for sticking around, guys. I love you as always. Take care.